All rise. The Commission on Judicial Appointments is now in session. The Honorable Patricia Guerrero presiding. You may be seated.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see you in LA with the full house. Welcome to the public hearing of the Commission on Judicial Appointments. As Chief Justice of California, I serve as chair of the commission. The other members of the commission are Attorney General Rob Bonta, who is appearing remotely, and Presiding Justice Arthur Gilbert. And Janelle Baker serves as the secretary of the commission. This hearing is to consider Governor Gavin Newsom's appointment of Justice Brian Hoffstadt to the office of Presiding Justice for the Court of Appeal, the 2nd District Court of Appeal, Division 5. The commission is in receipt of a letter from Governor Newsom appointing Justice Hoffstadt to fill a vacancy that was created by the retirement of Justice Lawrence D. Rubin. The state constitution specifies that an appointment by the governor to the Court of Appeal is effective when confirmed by the Commission on Judicial Appointments. The Commission has received correspondence pertaining to this appointment, and we made these available to the press and to the public a few days ago. Pursuant to a request of Governor Newsom, the State Bar's Commission on Judicial Nominees Evaluation, Jenny, has undertaken an evaluation of the qualifications of Justice Hoffstadt for this position. We have present with us Ms. Chyla Malik, who's present here, to present the evaluation and the results of the evaluation later in the proceedings. Justice Hoffstadt has asked the following persons to testify on his behalf. I will list all of you now and then ask you to come to the podium when it is your turn. First, the Honorable Elwood Lui, Administrative Presiding Justice for the 2nd District Court of Appeal. How do you feel being on that side? We'll get to you soon. I mean that in a good way. And we also have the Honorable Nora Manella, Presiding Justice, who is retired and formerly with the 2nd District Court of Appeal, Division 4. We also have the Honorable Curtis Kin, who's a judge with the Superior Court of California for the County of Los Angeles. We now invite Administrative Presiding Justice Lui to the podium.
Good afternoon, Madam Chief Justice, Presiding Justice Gilbert, Attorney General Bonta. This is a bittersweet moment for our colleagues and my colleagues in the Justice Ashman-Gers and Justice Chavez, which are losing a dear colleague and welcoming, hopefully, a new one. But I did caution Justice Hoffstadt this morning, don't worry, I haven't lost one of these yet, Brian. I first met Justice Hoffstadt almost 18 years ago when he was an assistant United States attorney. I was then a member of the management committee at Jones Day, and I was charged with the responsibility of finding someone to succeed me as the appellate specialist in California. Several of my partners who were also former United States attorneys had identified Brian, I'll call him Brian, because at that time he was Brian, as the triple threat for our team, a trial and appellate specialist, and someone with strong administrative managerial capabilities that we should have with our firm. When Justice Hoffstadt and I met, he disclosed that he had applied to be a Superior Court judge. I convinced him that he should take this opportunity with the firm, and after 7 years that he decided to want to be a judge, we would all support him in that endeavor. Brian was a great partner. He handled several trials and appeals with exceptional results. He was a valued member of our firm's appellate practice. He and I worked on the first major pro bono matter that I had as a prison compliance officer concerning the 3-judge panel's litigation over the overcrowding of California prisons. And I had a deep responsibility that if the prison capacity exceeded a certain amount, I would have to select those who would be released from custody. So and at that time, we were over that capacity. I asked Brian, because I knew he was capable of helping me in that endeavor. And when our first occasion, we visited state prison in Chino, And as we were stepping into the lobby, they said, well, we now have a no hostage policy. So if someone captures you, we're not going to trade you. So I looked at Brian and I said, oh my God, we had a problem. Of course, when we started our inspection of that facility, guess what happened? An alarm went off. I said to myself, why did I take this job? And I think Brian was saying, what did I get myself into? Well, thankfully, it was just a minor disturbance, but it had a major impact as I was at that time. One of the attorneys on the state prison case was the legal affairs secretary because the litigation involved the state, the governor's office, and the plaintiffs, and the prisoners, of course. And the legal affairs secretary saw firsthand how talented Brian was. Eventually, after 3.5 years at Jones A, I think the pull of the judicial and public service was too much. And he told me he was going to pursue his goal again of being a judge. I think that the legal affairs secretary was recruiting him behind my back. In 2010, Justice Hoffstadt was appointed to Superior Court. Indeed, as Justice Gilbert is talented in finding and poaching people, he got Brian to serve on Division 6 for 1 year, right? Right. And with great dispatch. In 2014, Justice Hoffstadt was appointed to Division 2 as an Associate Justice, and I had the pleasure of speaking on his behalf then and today. As things happen, I myself returned to the court the next year in Division 1 and then in Division in 2017 as presiding judge, Justice of Division 2, and serving again for the last 7 years with Justice Hoffstadt. He was everything you would want in a judicial colleague. He was friendly, approachable, a keen intellect, and an incredible researcher and writer. And he is the consummate team player. Justice Hoffstadt has the education and career experience any governor would want to be a presiding justice. First in his class at UCLA Law School, clerkships on the Ninth Circuit and the United States Supreme Court, particularly with Justice Sandra Day O'Connor. Experience as a federal prosecutor and a partner in a big law firm, and service as a trial and appellate judge. He's indeed exceptionally well qualified for this position. Although he has always fulfilled his judicial duties, he has somehow found time to co-author a text on evidence and to teach at USC Law School. Just as a joke, but meaning it seriously, people at UCLA have a responsibility of teaching people at USC. I did that myself for 10 years, and that was part of my public responsibility. Let's say he's just a balanced workaholic. He always finds time for his wife and family and to be a great friend. He always does his judicial duties to the utmost. Thank you for the opportunity to speak on his behalf. I would be pleased to answer any questions you may have regarding Justice Hoffstadt.
Thank you very much, Administrative Presiding Justice Lui. Really appreciate your comments and all of the insight from all of your years of knowing Justice Hoffstadt. I don't think I have any questions.
I have dozens, but I'll withhold them.
I shouldn't have asked. Thank you. We next invite to the podium Justice Manella.
Thank you, and good afternoon, Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Bonta, and my darling Arthur. It is my pleasure to speak today in favor of the confirmation of Associate Justice Brian Hoffstadt as Presiding Justice of Division 5. This commission has undoubtedly read the Jenny report, and I suspect we'll hear from Ms. Malik about Justice Hoffstadt's distinguished career to date, starting with his status as an academic superstar, his federal clerkships on the Ninth Circuit and in the United States Supreme Court, his decade in public service, primarily with the Department of Justice, his partnership at a blue-chip law firm, and of course, his nearly 15 years as a distinguished jurist, the last decade as an associate justice on the Court of Appeal. Were one to look only at the professional positions Justice Hoffstadt has occupied and the exemplary manner in which he's performed those positions, one would conclude, as I believe the Jenny Commission has, that Justice Hoffstadt is more than qualified for this next position. So my appearance today here may be largely superfluous, but in the brief time allotted, I would like to highlight one aspect of Brian's character that is above and beyond his demonstrated commitment to performing his professional obligations at the highest level. And that is Brian's genuine, unadulterated passion for the law. He truly loves the law, not just his work, but the study of the law. In this respect, he reminds me of my former beloved colleague, the late Norm Epstein, my successor as presiding justice of Division 4, and I think I can fairly say a god in the firmament of the California judiciary. Like Norm, Brian finds the law in all its iterations, not merely in the cases that come before him, a subject of incomparable interest. Legal issues are to Brian what bugs are to an enthusiastic entomologist, a subject of endless fascination. New developments in the law are welcomed by Brian with the same fervor that ichthyologists brought to the discovery of the coelacanths in the 1930s. This deep and abiding interest in the law explains why Brian's career has been so much more than the exemplary performance of his professional duties. As this commission knows, for over a decade, Justice Hoffstadt has taught both law students and judges across the country and throughout the state on subjects ranging from criminal law and evidence to civil jury instructions, arbitration, and implicit bias. He's authored books on evidence and criminal discovery, co-authoring one of them with the legendary Professor Laurie Levinson, herself the author of over a dozen books, and frankly, somebody whose standards for selecting a co-author are exceedingly high. Finally, he has penned full-length law review articles and nearly 100 pieces for the Daily Journal. Significantly, these are not advocacy articles, but pieces that lay out in clear, cogent, and concise language a particular legal issue of note, often identifying competing lines of cases and teeing up an issue that lawyers and judges alike will have to address. These articles are a genuine public service to the legal profession. All this is to say that while Brian's demonstrated excellence as a lawyer, a judge, and an appellate justice are more than sufficient to qualify him for the position of presiding justice, the intellectual passion, energy, and industry he has brought to the judiciary and will continue to bring as presiding justice are too essential to his character not to be considered part of the commission's evaluation. As for being PJ itself, I've told Brian there's a simple secret to being an effective PJ: have great colleagues. Fortunately, in Justices Baker, Kim, and Moore, Brian has just that. Colleagues of superior intellectual candle power, work ethic, integrity, collegiality, and commitment. So, piece of cake. One final note. I suspect Commissioner Malik will make some allusion to the esteem in which Justice Hoffstadt is held by his colleagues, but I'd like to give just one concrete example. A couple of years ago, I was attending an Appellate Justices Institute, and Brian was giving an annual criminal law update. This wasn't merely a recitation of recent cases, as it might have been, but a carefully prepared and flawlessly delivered presentation on the state of criminal law, where it was going, what issues his fellow justices should be prepared to see and consider in the coming year. He may have had some visuals, but I don't think he had any notes before him. When finished, his remarks were greeted not merely with polite applause, but with a standing ovation. I don't need to tell this commission that appellate justices as a whole are not easily impressed, but this gives one example of the enormous esteem in which Brian is held by his colleagues. Every day, the members of this commission in their respective capacities as Chief Justice, Attorney General, and Presiding Justice are called upon to make difficult decisions. This is not one. The appointment of Justice Hoffstadt to the position of presiding justice will add luster to the state's already impressive judiciary. The governor has made a sage decision in nominating Justice Hoffstadt to the position of presiding justice, and I urge the commission to unanimously confirm his confirmation. I thank you, and I am prepared to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Justice Manella, for your thorough and very helpful comments here today. I don't see any questions.
No.
No? Okay. Thank you. Attorney General Bonta has no questions either. We next invite Judge Kin to the podium.
Well, good afternoon, Chief Justice Guerrero, Presiding Justice Gilbert, and Attorney General Bonta, It is absolutely my privilege and my honor to appear before you, and even more so for the purpose that I'm here to address you, which is to sing the praises of and to share some of what I know about my very good friend, and at times my work colleague over the years, Justice Brian Hoffstadt. Justice Lui has already shared with you some of his accomplishments on this court, as well as my own, the LA County Superior Court, as well as his time as a partner at Jones Day. Justice Manella has shared with you about his great intellect, his scholarship, and his teaching. I'm here to share with you about Justice Hoffstadt's dedication to the legal community and how he has given his time and his talent to improve it over the years, including helping and mentoring others. I know because firsthand, I have also been a beneficiary of his dedication to helping others. We first met way back in the fall of 2000 as clueless rookie prosecutors at the U.S. Attorney's Office long ago. Well, one of us was clueless at the time. The other one was excellent almost immediately. Right away, circulating office-wide policy and guidance memoranda on arcane subjects and things such as the writ and habeas, drafting form pleadings and templates that his colleagues could use. And as I understand it, almost a quarter of a century later, are still in circulation at the U.S. Attorney's Office and used by the AUSAs there. He was a resource for the whole office, including myself. And it didn't stop there. It continued on. In 2011, when I was first appointed a judge, Judge Hoffstadt provided me with his scripts, let me copy his bench book, borrow his sample orders and his templates. And I'm not the only judge on my court who has been able to partake of his largesse, if you will. For years, Justice Hoffstadt has readily and consistently taught other judges on our court things like search warrant basics or the yearly criminal law update for the entire criminal division. And he does so even when he's very busy and overextended, and he takes considerable time to do so. Indeed, as a footnote to Justice Manella's remarks regarding scholarship and teaching, he has literally written the book on evidence here in California. And so as head of judicial education for civil judges here at LA Superior Court, I recently asked Justice Hoffstadt to teach a session on evidence to all of our civil judges at one of our all-day trainings. And that's a big ask. It's hours of care and hours of preparation he puts into it. And so when I asked Justice Hoffstadt, and he indicated how thinly stretched he was, he candidly asked me, Curtis, are you asking me to do this on behalf of the court, or asking you to do this as a friend? And I replied, which answer is going to get you to say yes? I don't even recall what answer I gave him, because it didn't really matter. His answer was going to be yes, because he is dedicated to the court, and he's dedicated to his friends. Justice Hoffstadt cares very deeply about assisting others and making our legal community better. And as an aside, his evidence presentation that year was the highlight of the day at our civil bench seminar. Of course, it was replete with important substantive content, but it was highly entertaining with references to Star Wars and Harry Potter and the things that only Justice Hoffstadt could do. Now, just as Justice Hoffstadt makes judges become better judges and helps them to be so, his dedication also extends to law students and to young lawyers. He teaches a segment of a free bar review course to students who have failed the bar before and wish to pursue careers in public service. He has run the summer extern program for this court, the 2nd District, for the last 6 years. And even in his own chambers, he dedicates one of his 3 research attorney spots to a rotating clerkship for UCLA graduates with a special emphasis on diversity. And of course, he's involved in the Southern California legal community as a whole. He supports and he participates in bar activities consistently. That includes activities with the Southern California Chinese Lawyers Association, the South Asian Bar Association, and the Women Lawyers Association of Los Angeles. And he also mentors lawyers and judges who are interested in serving on the Court of Appeals through the statewide mentor program. I could go on, but I do recognize that time here is limited, and this commission has much to do today. So let me close where I began, and that is to acknowledge what it is a great honor to appear before this commission, especially so to advocate on behalf of my dear friend, Justice Brian Hoffstadt. I think the people of the state of California would be well served if you were to confirm him today, and I urge you to do so. I thank you for your time, and I'm prepared to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you very much, Judge Ken. We appreciate your comments. There do not appear to be any questions. Thank you. The commission now invites the chair of the Judicial Nominees Evaluation Commission, Ms. Malik, for the report that the commission prepared.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here today, Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Banta, and Presiding Justice Gilbert. My name is Chaya Malik. I am chair of the Jenny Commission, and it is my unequivocal honor to present this report on behalf of the Commission on Judicial Nominee Evaluations to summarize the basis of the Commission's rating of Justice Brian M. Hoffstadt for the Office of Presiding Justice of the Court of Appeal, 2nd Appellate District, Division 5. The Jenny Commission conducted its evaluation of Justice Hoffstadt in February of 2022, finding him to be well qualified for service on the 2nd District of Appeal as presiding justice. According to Commission rules, that rating reflects the Commission's determination that Justice Hoffstadt possesses qualities and attributes indicative of a superior fitness to perform the appellate judicial function with a high degree of skill, effectiveness, and distinction, and is well qualified to serve as presiding justice. Justice Hoffstadt has been serving on the Court of Appeals since August of 2014, bringing a wealth of experience and commitment to the judiciary. A third-generation Southern Californian, he grew up in the eastern San Gabriel Valley and attended public schools from kindergarten through law school. Inspired by his father's remarkable journey from cleaning booths to earning a college degree and rising the ranks at General Telephone, Justice Hoffstadt cultivated a strong work ethic from a very young age. Justice Hoffstadt graduated summa cum laude from Cal Poly Pomona in 1992 with a BS in Business Administration and became the valedictorian of the UCLA School of Law in 1995. Making him the first lawyer in his family. Justice Hoffstadt's legal career has been marked by excellence. After law school, he clerked for the Honorable Cynthia Holcomb Hull at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals and the Honorable Sandra Day O'Connor at the United States Supreme Court. He subsequently held legal positions at the Federal Communications Commission and the United States Justice Department's Office of Policy and Development in Washington, D.C. In 2000, Justice Hoffstadt returned to Los Angeles as a criminal prosecutor, as we just heard from Judge Kim, at the U.S. Attorney's Office, where he spent over 6 years handling cases involving white-collar fraud, international extortion, computer hacking, and trademark infringement. He also served in the criminal appeals section, where he regularly briefed and argued cases before the Ninth Circuit. Then, transitioning to private practice, Justice Hoffstadt became a partner at Jones Day, leading the Issues and Appeals practice group in Los Angeles. In that role, he briefed and argued complex civil motions, appeals, and writs in both state and federal appellate courts. Appointed as judge to the Los Angeles Superior Court in 2010, Justice Hoffstadt presided over criminal and civil cases, as well as preliminary hearings in both bench and jury trials for over 4 years. In 2014, he was unanimously confirmed by this Commission on Judicial Appointments to the 2nd Appellate District, Division 2, where he continues to serve. On the appellate bench, Justice Hoffstadt has authored more than 600 opinions, including more than 80 published decisions. Known for his meticulous attention to detail, he ensures that every opinion is well crafted and that each project is executed flawlessly. Justice Hoffstadt is also passionate about education, having taught as an adjunct professor at USC Gould School of Law. I make no comments about UCLA and USC here today. Loyola Law School and the George Washington University School of Law. Since 2012, he has been a faculty member of the Judicial College, teaching courses on topics such as evidence, habeas corpus, domestic violence law, arbitration, civil jury instructions, and criminal law. In addition to teaching, Justice Hoffstadt has published extensively, including authoring California Criminal Discovery, contributing to several law review articles, and advising on the restatement of the law of torts for defamation and privacy. As a respected judicial officer, he has garnered admiration from his colleagues and the legal community. The Commission's investigation affirmed Justice Hoffstadt's reputation as intelligent, conscientious, hardworking, and fair. His time management skills and extensive experience position him well to uphold the division's reputation for conducting orderly arguments and producing timely, well-reasoned opinions in a collaborative environment. The Commission believes Justice Hoffstadt is well qualified to transition smoothly into the role of presiding justice should he be confirmed. As Jenny Commission Chair, it is my honor and privilege to appear at this confirmation hearing for Justice Hoffstadt. If you have any questions, I am available.
Thank you very much for your report. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
We now invite Justice Hoffstadt to the podium to present a statement, if you wish, and to answer any questions the Commission may have.
I have to say it's a while since I've been standing at this lectern. It's a little more intimidating from this vantage point. I know you have a
It's going
busy.
to be okay, as you always have been.
I know you have a busy docket, so I will at this time say only that I am honored and humbled to be standing before you as a nominee, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Justice Gilbert?
You look familiar. You were in Division 6, weren't you? That's for one year.
Correct.
Did you learn anything there?
I was very fortunate to have three amazing justices that I got to work with, you, Justice Perrin, and Justice Yegan, who were not only great colleagues, but took me under your wing and taught me the craft and the art of being an appellate justice. So
Okay,
Great.
I know, we know each other, and you know the great respect I have for you. And I know you were worried about the questions that I was going to ask you. We've already been through that. I just have two questions, and they're more of a personal nature. We've heard this, the teachings you've done, I've been there and listened to your lectures, the law review articles, being the clerk for Supreme Court Justice, the volunteer services you do and everything. Do you have any friends?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess so. And I asked you one other question. I mean, it's really remarkable the kind of work you do. And I've attended the college, and I'm furiously writing notes. And the influence you've had on this court and and justice in California has been unsurpassed. And I asked this question before because the type of work you do is so extensive. 75 articles in the Daily Journal, not close to my 357 columns, but
nope, not even close.
that's okay. When do you sleep? Seriously, when do you have time? I mean, you have a wonderful family. The time that this takes, I don't care how brilliant you are, it takes time to write a book, to prepare for classes. Really, I know this is a little personal, but what's your schedule like?
I'm up very early in the morning, and as everyone can tell me, as my friends know as well, I go to bed very early at night, so I'm not much fun. But I do get my 6 or 7 hours of sleep a night.
Okay, nothing further, thank
There
you.
are a lot of nods in agreement in the audience. For Attorney General Bonta's benefit, I wanted to share that. And then I'll now turn to Attorney General Bonta.
Thank you all for the opportunity to be part of this wonderful process. Thank you, Justice Hoffstadt, for your service to the state, for your contributions to the law, to the legal profession. And I enjoyed reading your materials and hearing from the three wonderful witnesses and support. Just one quick question around this particular role. What do you think are the most important qualities for an appellate presiding justice? And can you talk about when you've demonstrated those qualities?
Yes, sure. I think one of the most important is I think presiding justices are sort of the first among equals. I think that it's important to recognize that a division moves forward as a group together. And so I think a collegial attitude and an approach is, I think, the most effective one. I think the probably best example that I can give you of when I have demonstrated that recently is I have chaired the Crim Law Advisory Committee for the past 4 years, worked with a committee of 25 to 30 people who have very different points of view and walks of life, who are all called together to come up with and formulate the Judicial Council's position on various pieces of pending legislation that impact the criminal law. And so working with all of those folks and in that collaborative environment and fostering their input and working toward a solution and sometimes input and suggestions we can give to the legislature. I think it's been a great training ground for me as a sort of a microcosm of the skills that I think I will need to bring to bear on being presiding justice.
Thank you. Love that spirit of collaboration and partnership, and I know it's already served you well and will continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Attorney General Bonta. Justice Hoffstadt, there's so many things that I can focus on. I would like to focus on one of your Daily Journal articles. Now, you may want to know which one, since I think there were 93 by last count.
I will tell you, I don't have all 93 right on the tip of my brain.
I thought there might be 103 since the time that this was submitted. This one actually dates back quite a bit in 2019. You were responding to an open letter that criticized judicial opinions for being too long and lacking flair. And it sounded like you were explaining the need to have a minimum amount of substantive content. I ask this question now to see if your thoughts are still the same or if you have changed your views. Recently, it was commented to me that the appellate opinions throughout our state could benefit from being more concise. So I'm curious as to your thoughts on that, or if there are any other areas that you're focusing on that you believe would improve the administration of justice in your court.
I mean, I'll go with the first question first. I think that it's a fine line to walk between being concise and covering everything you need to cover. I think that part of the reason why opinions are so long these days is because the litigation is very thorough and a lot of issues are raised. So when someone raises 17 issues, it's hard not to address all of those issues. I think that it's a tension that I don't know that I have an answer for. I mean, I think we all shoot to write as concise of opinions as we can, but I do think there is on some level a minimum length in order to be thorough and to discharge our constitutional responsibility to have a statement of reasons for what we're doing. So I don't know that I have an answer. I don't think I've moved off of that. I still like to write things as short as I can, but I know that it takes a lot of time, and I know that we owe the litigants an explanation for why we're resolving the case. And we also owe judges and lawyers in the future an explanation of our rationale when they look at our opinions for guidance in the years to come.
Thank you. I appreciate that response. I think we're on the same page on that, but I wanted to pick your brain since you were here and you have such extensive expertise. That does complete the list of witnesses who are testifying here today. Are the members of the commission prepared to vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor of confirming Justice Brian Hoffstadt for this position, please say aye.
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 Thank you. On this record and the correspondence received, the commission finds Justice Hoffstadt qualified to be a presiding justice for... And just so the record is clear, presiding justice of the Court of Appeals, 2nd District, Division 5. We confirm the appointment. Congratulations to presiding Justice Hoffstadt.
Thank you.
Thank you. The formal portion of the hearing is now adjourned, and Justice Hoffstadt has asked Administrative Presiding Justice Lui to administer the oath of office for him. And if you're ready, that will take place. You're all, of course, welcome to stay for that. Is it going to be up here? Okay, so in a couple of minutes, there's some paperwork that we need to do first to make it official. Thank you, everybody.
If you give me your attention for a moment, I will begin the swearing-in ceremony. I would have to say one word. I'm going to call you Brian again. Brian, this is your last chance to change your mind. Hearing no answer, I assume he wants to move on. Raise your right hand. I, Brian Hoffstadt,
I, Brian Hoffstadt,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States of America,
to the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
and that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Is this on? I will try to keep my remarks relatively brief, but I had a few thank yous I wanted to share. I first wanted to thank Governor Newsom and Appointment Secretary Cespedes for nominating me for this position. I will do everything in my power to vindicate the trust that you placed in me, and I can say that I would not be standing here were it not for that nomination. I'd also like to thank the members of the Commission on Judicial Appointments, Chief Justice Guerrero, Attorney General Bonta, Presiding Justice Gilbert. You are all very, very busy people with your day jobs, and the fact that you take additional time to evaluate and vet all of us candidates for appointments positions means a lot. I also really appreciate your vote to confirm me. I might be standing here, but the words coming out of my mouth might not be filled with quite as much gratitude. So thank you very much. I'd like to thank all of my speakers. Judge Kin, we started out as baby prosecutors who went to go see bad movies together. It's hard to believe 25 years later that we're still such good friends, but I have no idea how it happened, but I am very grateful that it did. Justice Manella, former Presiding Justice Manella, you are the perfect blend of elegance, intelligence, and wit. You have been an inspiration and a mentor for me ever since I appeared in front of you as a baby prosecutor 20 years ago. Thank you so much. Justice Lui, when you called me on that random Tuesday afternoon in July of 2006, I thought maybe from that relationship I would have a colleague and a mentor. I had no idea that I would have a lifelong friend and a father figure. You have been a profound influence on my life, and I am grateful that you are in my life. So thank you very, very much. I would like to thank the members of my now former division, Justice Ashman-Gerst and Justice Chavez. It has truly been a privilege to share a bench with you for the last 10 years. I know I will no longer be your direct colleague, but I will always be your friend. Thank you also for writing letters in support of my confirmation. I also wanted to thank Judge Lisa Rodriguez for writing a letter in support, as well as Justice Judy McConnell for writing one. I very much appreciate that. I'd like to thank my staff, Amy and Jim, Olivia and Annie, and all of the folks who have rotated through in annual clerkships or served a year or two as my judicial assistant or law clerk. I couldn't do what I do without you. I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank my mom, Maureen, my sister Shannon, my brother-in-law Dave. Thank you all for coming here. I wish Dad could be here too, but I know he's watching from above. I'd also like to thank my wife's parents, John and Linda, as well as our aunt by designation, Carrie. Thank you for all that you do for our family. I'd like to thank my wife, Corrine, our son, Matthew, and our daughter, Leah. You are the true north on my compass. You give me direction, you give me energy, and you definitely keep me humble. Usually by beating me in Mario Kart when I come in dead last. You inspire me, you make me want to be a better husband, a better father, and a better person. Thank you so much. And to my future colleagues in Division 5, I am so excited to be joining you. I could not ask for a better group of colleagues. The task that we undertake as judges is a critical one. We are a place, the courts are a place where reality is defined by facts and evidence, where the law is applied equally, and where our task is to apply the law to those facts and evidence in a way that is fair, compassionate, and just. And perhaps that role is now more important now in our society than it's ever been in the past. The road ahead of us is long. There is an old saying that if you want to get somewhere fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I can't imagine, I am so grateful to be able to walk this road along with you together. Thank you all very much for coming.